Howdy there, ladies and gentlemen. It's White Lightning here, welcoming you back to Space Engineers. Thanks for joining me today for an episode where I'm going to take you guys through the base, let you see. I've kind of got things finished up, ready to move on to the next stage of the series here, which is building a small ship. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you enjoy the video, make sure to like and comment. Let me know what you think, and if you have any suggestions for me, happy to take those as well. But yeah, so behind me, the base here, like I say, is done. I've gone through, and everything should be pressurized, and lights all should be working and things like that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to turn off my headlights first of all, and walk across my old catwalk bridge, scaffolding bridge, which now that we have graded catwalks, I guess I don't really need this anymore. I like, when I have the option, I like using the official game blocks as opposed to the modded game blocks when possible, just because you never know when they're going to do an update and the old modded blocks are going to stop working and things like that. So it's nice that Keen lately has been focusing on adding more of those official blocks. But let's see here. Yeah, so this is our big industrial area with the old minnow sitting there. The idea with that would that it would be like kind of rusting or kind of, you know, old, and that shows that it's antiquated. I guess I should go back and probably repaint that in the rust color scheme, because it doesn't make a ton of sense for it to have like algae growing on it here in the middle of space. But that was kind of the idea, is that, you know, that was the core of our base, and we expanded from there, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it works pretty well. Nice big windows, nice big open space in here, which I like. We can continue in here to this corridor, which is nice and pressurized and everything, so that's great. That's where the gravity generator is. Come through this door that's rigged to sensors, and in here we have our hydroponics bay, which you can see kind of in through there. We've already seen that in previous episodes. And then downstairs, that's where we have most of our power, our reactors, and then also our shield generators, which is pretty cool. And then a chunk of rock that I actually need to get rid of here, because that's kind of annoying, and might put a light or a screen or something in here to make this spot a little more interesting. Continuing up the stairs, we get to kind of this crew member lounge with these nice windows that I love. I absolutely love these new windows that have been modded, and I think they look really good, especially from the outside. I think they just make everything look a little more interesting. A little jukebox there. Come in here, and then that actually I haven't completed yet. I was thinking of this being like a bathroom or shower area or something like that. Haven't actually completed that yet, but that's okay. A lot of people would say that I'm wasting a lot of time building a base that I'm actually not going to use a lot of the rooms and parts of it, which is true, but I like doing it anyway. I just think it makes me feel more immersed. Here's a little living quarter area with some lockers and a couple of desks over here, and some beds that we can nap in, and I also love the windows on these beds too. I think those look super cool. You can just kind of see out there. But yeah, that's what I have there. Again, I just think it's cool to have this whole base to call my own. Come through this airlock here, which I could probably replace with just a normal door as opposed to an airlock. And you guys have seen my medical bay here, which works really well. It keeps me alive, I guess, and supplied with oxygen and so forth, so that's nice. And then the kitchen actually I think looks really good, and I'm really happy with this cafeteria area, dining area. I think that's really fun to have in here. And then we got a programming block, and then this is the way up to the control tower, which I think I showed everyone last episode. So what we're going to be working on today is a docking pad, and I actually built out already a semblance of a docking pad, or a docking pad out here. I know I come out here and like, whoa, there's a whole structure out here. These are really easy to make, of course. Docking pads are really easy to make, and so I didn't feel that bad doing that off camera. It was just, you know, laying down some flat stuff, but then it was great because it was a learning experience, because I discovered that I actually made this too small for what I'm wanting to build next, which is kind of a heavy fighter all-purpose transport that I'm going to use to complete some missions and so forth, and also just fly around in and blow stuff up, which is going to be cool. You guys notice here, I'll go talk about those LCD screens in a second. You guys notice here that I have this kind of structure here, just this small grid sitting here. This is what I want my heavy fighter to be able to carry. I'm thinking, and I know everybody builds a gunship, right? Everybody builds like a Pelican or something like that. See, look how good that window looks right there. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Everybody builds like a Pelican or a gunship or something like that, and I'm gonna do it too, but I want it, you know, I want to have like a couple of cockpits up here, and, you know, some cargo container down here, and then kind of an open area in the back, and then some tail fins and stuff like that. But then that open area in the back becomes where you can lock on with merge blocks and a connector to, I'm actually imagining all sorts of kind of cargo-y attachments and modules that can go onto that ship. This is the cargo module that I've built out, and this is what kind of the size I want all of them to be. I'm thinking I can make one of these for like cargo and salvage, which is what this is, has a couple of build and repairs on it, and 3 of those large cargo containers, which carry as much as the large grid small cargo containers, which is a pretty hefty amount of cargo, especially for a small grid. which I like. And plus you can fit cargo in the build and repair and the connectors and all that stuff, so that's nice. But I would also like to have some sort of module or pod or something that works with that works as kind of a troop carrier or personnel transport, something that's this, again, kind of this size and shape, but it's just studded with guns, so it turns the craft into a gunship, although the craft by itself will have guns, I'm hoping. And then I think it would be really cool to have like a kind of mobile base pod this size, something with a survival kit, a couple of small grid cryopods, some parachutes or something that you could drop onto a planet and have that be a new like spawn point or a little mobile base or something for a couple of engineers to get started on building a base on the planet or something. I don't know, just some random ideas, but it's something I think I'll have a lot of fun building. But that will happen after we actually have a pad that is big enough to build such a structure, because right now this is a little bit small for what I'm thinking, this size of a pad. So I'm going to build another pad. Where? Right next to it, perhaps? This is a good question, actually, and something I didn't fully consider. Yeah, probably right next to it. And I'm actually thinking I will probably get rid of this cannon and all of this apparatus over here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and paint that pink. Yeah, we will be a little bit short on weapons and armaments and stuff, but we can adapt for that and change that a little bit to make sure our base is fully defended. Although, again, I haven't seen a ton of drones or enemy ships. I haven't come under attack in the last few episodes, or last several episodes, actually. And I don't know why that is. I checked. Drones are on. Pirate ships are on. There's some lag from something spawning in. What are you? Gremlin XL. Drones are on, pirate ships are on. I don't know what's going on to make people not come and get me, but I'm kind of ready for it. We've got a large shield generator. We've got a fair number of guns. Obviously, we could always have more boom, right? You can never have enough. But I kind of feel like I would at least like to see some drones thrown at me to see what they do, see what kind of damage they can do. But I guess I'd better be careful what I wish for, and B, maybe I'll just load in some mods like the corruption mod or something like that, so that we can get some more exciting drones or more exciting NPC encounters, something like that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, first, let me show you guys this one real quick thing. This is from that NPC mod that I have. By the way, my mod list is linked in the description of this video, or at least it should be. I disabled, actually, my jetpack mod that I was using to nerf my jetpack, just to make it a little easier and less cumbersome to build for these next few episodes that I'm going to be working on a small ship. But this is from the NPC programmable block. I think it's just NPC characters mod, but it's a programmable block, and this programmable block is actually running the script for the automatic LCDs. If we come in to edit, you can see automatic LCDs 2. Super good script, highly recommend it. You can do a lot with it. I have barely even scratched the surface of what you can do with automatic LCDs 2. One of those fun things that you can do with it is have this inventory screen, which I still haven't fully configured to have it just show me the basic materials for building and stuff, instead of having the food down there as well. But that's apparently considered as an ingot. All you have to do is come into your LCD, come to the add LCD in brackets to the name of the LCD screen, and then here's where you write commands. I have it giving me the inventory of ingots and no ores and no components, which is pretty cool, because I can just see at a glance that I have 10,000 platinum kicking around, which is crazy. I know I melted down a lot of, like, I've salvaged a lot of thrusters and stuff, but wow, that is a lot of platinum around. I'm a little short on gold, though. We might have to make a run to the moon for some more gold. But yeah, so that's kind of cool, and we can set similar things up over here when we build it this way. But let's go ahead, and I'm gonna paint, I think, this pink right here, so that we can use kind of some of these more interesting catwalks. And let's use the battered armor here. I like these graded catwalks. Again, I will probably continue to use these. Let's see, what do I want? Do I just want the... Oh yeah, I just want the one side here with the railing. Oh, and you guys, again, will have to excuse me. I'm sorry. You don't have to excuse me, I guess. Do what you want. But I'm still a little bit cumbersome with my commands and stuff. And I'm actually thinking... Well, no, let's keep things at this level. Staircase might be nice. Coming down to a landing pad right here. Yeah, let's actually do that. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to put in a graded catwalk with the railing on either side. Yeah, switching keyboards. It's nice. It's a really nice keyboard. At least nicer than what I've been playing on. And I'm out of construction components, but that's okay because I have a connector right here. So let's come grab our construction components. And I don't need computers kicking around in here, so construction components there. Whoa, that's only 4. Wow. Let's dump our organic, actually. We don't need any of that. And that still only gives me 5. I'll go ahead and get rid of my gray water too, and interior plates. Let's just run around with 15 of those for now. There we go. That should be enough construction components. We can get some serious catwalkage built in here. Yeah, new keyboard. Buttons are in different places. Let's see, are the stairs not on this graded catwalk? They must not be. And I love that they have the half stairs too. I think I'm going to use a full staircase for this particular application, but I love that the other option for the half stairs is around. I think those are really cool. And that's actually not going to let me place that. That's unfortunate. Let's see, so that's where we want things to end up being. That's actually not the end of the world because I can come in with my pink here, and let's just paint that guy pink, that block right there, and then switch over back to our gray and wait for that to go bye-bye. I need a couple more build and repair systems over here too so that things get done a little bit faster. That'll be nice. And we can run a conveyor tube over this way. And then we can actually, like... Well, will we be able to place the stairs on top of that, even since the bounding box is a little bit different? Probably not. Yeah, it's going to be a no, dog. So let's think. I want a stair, and then probably one more line of... So I'm just planning this out. One more just plain graded catwalk, and then we can get into the actual landing pad, and that can be down here on this level. So I'll go ahead and put in this conveyor block, or this conveyor junction rather, and grab my catwalks back. And you can be just a plain flat graded catwalk. Yeah, like this. And which way do these run? That's a good question. I guess I'll have to go back and fix that if I need to. Give me the graded catwalk straight, this guy, and then we can add our stairs in, or at least we should be able to add our stairs in. There we go, graded stairs. And they are great, let me tell you. Okay, so I'll just start building out, again, landing pads. I actually think they're really fun to build, just because they're so easy, and they're easy to make look pretty good, I think. You can make them look very... sci-fi-y, what you think a sci-fi landing pad should look like. I think it's pretty easy to do. So that's kind of fun, I think. But yeah, we basically just need to make some flat space that's big enough for me to land a fairly chunky-sized ship on. But yeah, hope everybody's having a good February so far. Happy Valentine's Day coming up this week. Hopefully you have plans, or if you don't have plans, you have plans to have fun by yourself. I don't know. Valentine's Day was always weird because, I don't know, it feels very much like one of those holidays that everybody says the card companies just invented to get more money. But on the other hand, like, it's hard. So I'm lucky. My wife isn't the most sentimental person, and so she's like, yeah, we don't need to observe Valentine's Day. We can just save our money or just go out to eat, and we don't need to buy each other gifts every month or something for all these holidays. And so that's nice. We will probably just go get some sushi. That's fun. It's been cold where I am. Pretty cold winter, at least pretty cold snap of winter. It's pretty common, at least in the last few years, it's been pretty common that, gosh dang, global warming going on. It's been pretty common for us to be like in the 40s most of the time during the winter, 30s, 40s. We rarely have an extended period of time where it doesn't get above freezing. So what snow we do get, and we've been getting more lately than is strictly the norm, what snow we do get doesn't stay around very long, which makes me sad because I like a nice snowy winter. I guess everybody in Canada and stuff like that is thinking like, man, if you like snow during winter, that means you have never truly experienced a proper winter, which probably isn't strictly true. Like, I've spent a lot of time in some cold places. Like, I lived in DC for a winter, and like and granted, it didn't get like super cold in DC either, but I spent a lot of time outside and stuff. Like that's one thing in the West, like when we deal with winters, we don't have to go outside a lot because everybody drives everywhere and stuff like that. In DC, I didn't have a car, so I had to walk everywhere I wanted to go. And so I learned quickly the secrets to surviving in the cold, which is, in a word, layering and going way nuts. In fact, I visited New York City with my friend while I lived there. I'm recharging up my energy here so I don't die immediately. I went to New York City for a 3-day weekend, and we tramped around, had fun, saw some sights. And it was like during the middle of the polar vortex. This was polar vortex year. This was like 2014, 15, whatever year the polar vortex was when I was in DC. And New York was super cold, man. Like, burr. I need my right size conveyors so we can do something like this. And yeah, while we were there, it happened to be like the absolute depths of polar vortex season, which was so dang cold. There was, like, first off, a lot of ice floating in the Hudson River, which I don't know if there's normally a lot of ice floating in the Hudson River. Like, there's probably some during winter, but man, that seemed excessive. And looking at the weather when we were there, it was below freezing. Air temperatures was below freezing, but with the wind chill, it was like way below freezing. It was I think below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which, I'm sorry, I'm one of those uncouth Americans who uses the imperial system. My bad. It's one thing that I should actually put in the time to learn is, like, I'm pretty good with kilometers. I'm pretty good at converting kilometers and meters and so forth into imperial units. I'm not bad at that. Some of the other conversions for metric, not really my forte. Which I believe metric originated in France, if I'm not mistaken, right? Was it during the French Revolution? That seems right. I'm not actually sure about this, and I am not a man of science, so I don't know this for sure. But I'm pretty sure during the Revolution, that's when they came up with the metric system, because it was more rational, right? Which I don't think anybody would argue that the imperial system is more rational than the metric system. It's just sometimes it's what we're used to, so that's what we use. So I'm putting down a bunch of connectors here, just so that I have some versatility on directions, and I can park ships, and even number of ships I can park on here. So just a couple different connectors in some different ways. Might even put one like over here or something. We'll see what we end up needing. But yeah, that's pretty good. Now let's actually throw down some deck plating, which I think I'm going to go with the battered armor on this and stick with this dark gray, which is what I've done over here, and I'm kind of liking how that looks for landing pad, right? Looks pretty sharp. And then for this, actually, you know what? This I think would be a prime place to go some yellow carbon fiber all the way around the edge. Just as kind of like a, danger, this is a landing pad you're on, if you couldn't figure that out. I don't know. Just for some fun and some variety to think how things are looking. But yeah, it's been cold for me where we live, which is, again, fine. I like that. But it was like yesterday, the high was like 45 or something like that, which is pretty warm for February, right? And so I left the house today thinking that it would be the same thing, and like, oh yeah, high of 45, and it did get to high of 45. What I didn't take into consideration was that when I got in my car, it was like 11 degrees or something. So, I had a cold drive to school this morning. But that's life. That's what I get. Oh, and I'm out of steel plate, but that's okay, because this is all welded up. Build and repair system, man, is definitely my biggest must-have mod. It just makes these big projects, when you're playing single player especially, makes them more interesting. Speaking of big projects, now that we're kind of done with this, well, I still have some things I'd like to do with it, but I'll talk. One thing I should do is go ahead with, like, the skinny... Which block? This one right here. Just to connect those catwalks, at least some of the catwalks to the edge here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Speaking of big projects, though, like I was saying, I'm trying to think of what to do next channel-wise, and one idea that I had that I may have run past you guys before, but I don't remember, so tell me if you've already heard this or what you think of it. But I was thinking, how cool would it be to have like a community race? And I'm no great anything, so if anybody wants to actually do this, and I'll just sponsor it and get the people signed up to do it, that's fine. But I'm thinking, what if we did like a around the moon racetrack or something like that, like a race course where you circumnavigate the moon, and you have different beacons and waypoints and stuff like that, with a very strict set of rules. Like you have to build a wheeled vehicle, and it can only have X number of wheels. And I know people have done things where like you can only use and salvage the materials that you take with you, and so we set the cargo, set rules on cargo, maximum cargo space, and whatever you take with you, that's what you have to repair the car if it crashes or something like that, and that's it. That's all you have. So we build around the world or around the moon racetrack, or a certain distance on Earth or something like that, something manageable, right? We don't want it to be too much of a slog. And then people can compete for the best time. Whoa, oh, okay, sorry, I thought those were tracers incoming. Nope, just my build and repair, doing crazy build and repair stuff. And everybody who wants to downloads the map from the workshop, builds their little car or whatever, and then takes off around to see how fast they can do it, while coinciding with the rules. You email me, or again, whoever runs it, whoever's in charge, you email me or Dropbox me the video of you doing that so that we can confirm. And then the top like 6 people who get the top 6 times on that course get put into 3 teams of 2, so partnerships, and then we all hop on a save together, and the 3 teams do the race to see who wins, and I spectate and commentate or whatever. I don't know. Not saying that I'm like the ideal person to sponsor this or put this on or build this out or anything like that. It just seems like kind of a cool idea, and maybe an interesting way to see some interesting car builds and some interesting interaction. So let me know if you guys think that's a good idea, and if you want to participate or would be interested in participating in that at all. But with that, we are done with our landing pad, which is awesome. So time to start thinking about the important stuff. And by the important stuff, I mean this little cargo container contraption here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. I always paint my like supporting struts and stuff when I'm building a creation. I always paint those yellow. That just feels like a good industrially thing for me. I don't know. I like it. But anyway, so I'm going to take off here, and I'm actually going to latch on to this pod with ye old miner here, which, ugly and unarmored as it still is, has been doing the job for us remarkably well. And I want to move this guy. Can we lock onto it? There we go. Locked. I want to move you, sir, oh so gently, over to this pad. Which, have I once again made too small of a pad? Like, I don't know how much bigger this one is than what I started with. Ah, that's annoying. Okay, if I have to, between episodes, I can, I'll probably extend it that way. Or, maybe just adding one more block to the length here would be good. Although this might work. This might end up working for me. Anyway, so let's go ahead and put you down. And we might even go ahead and connect you up, because you should. I put a couple of little batteries on here, and those should actually work. Actually, there's a block in the way. Never mind. Okay, that's fine. This can just float here. And I will go ahead and detach my landing gear, and I'll go back and park the miner back where it was. Ah, this is so cool. I love hopping into a ship in Space Engineers and like using it to do useful stuff. It's just so fun. You can totally imagine yourself, especially in cockpit mode, you can totally imagine yourself like in real life, hopping into the cockpit and like flipping some switches, and you're ready to go. And I like how the toolbar features allow you to do that and set the different buttons to different things. Like a number 9 is my connector switch lock, which is awesome. Yeah, like that. Like a lot of things about the game. Like a lot of the mods and stuff about the game. But some of these elements are just fun. It's just fun for feeling like you're in space, like some of us space nerds like to do. We like to feel like we're in space. So anyway, so I have this cargo pod, what I want to do now is build, like I say, that like a tail section that goes over, and then a front section that has, I'm thinking actually 2 fighter cockpits. I've got my 2 fighter cockpits here, or my regular fighter cockpit here. I'm thinking 2 fighter cockpits just because it's always fun to take a buddy with you, you know? And that'll turn it into a real like attack helicopter gunship type craft feeling to have the 2 cockpits, one behind the other. So anyway, so in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the landing gear here. And let's turn things this way. And I'm actually going to go way out just to make sure I give myself lots of room. And this is always a challenge, right? Getting your landing gear to line up just right so that it will actually lock on when it welds up, or when you weld it up. But we can get these light armor blocks. And again, using yellow, my main construction color, not to be confused with yellow, my landing pad perimeter color. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I think that it just needs to go out 1 more block this way and 1 more block this way. But that's something I can fix and take care of in between episodes. You guys don't have to watch me tear that apart and do that again. So something like this, I think, is what I'm going to want. And then keep going out this way. Oops. There's a random floating block there that I'll pick up. Just keep things clean, you know, keep performance up. And what we're going to want is that to be the connector spot for this dropship or gunship or whatever we're calling it. By the way, if you guys have any names, I'll post this video like immediately after I finish recording. So if you guys have any names about unable to place connector, why, my friend? If you guys have any name suggestions for what we could call this type of a heavy fighter like light dropship, like gunship type craft, please sound off and let me know. Okay, that's apparently as good as I'll be able to do. Probably some issue related to placement of the the connector's bounding box or something like that. I'm actually wondering, can I go ahead and I'm just going to try to push this down so that landing gear that's on the bottom of it locks on, which does this landing gear is set to auto lock, right? Okay, so if I just thrust into it, sounds strange to say. Nope, doesn't actually work. I would like it just to fall down. Hey, fall down. That sounds like a job for artificial mass, which I like using even when I'm in space. I like using the artificial mass blocks because they just feel right. It just feels right for your stuff to fall in an artificial gravity field. Build and repair, come to me. Ooh. Do I not have any superconductors? I'm gonna go with no. Let's see if we can afford to make any superconductors. Just give me 2 for now. There's 1. Now, did that work? Sometimes having the assembler set on cooperative mode does some weird things, I've noticed. Production, yeah. Assembler 2. And somebody was saying that I should set up the build and repair auto queuing script. I totally agree I should. That might be something that I do in between episodes as well. Just to streamline this process here. Oh, come on. I'm going to need to make a run for gold because this apparently is not going to work for me. Production assembler 2. Apparently didn't work. Dang it. Well, I suppose this will work for now. This is mostly just for placing and making sure that I have things in the right place. Yeah, so why did I spend that time agonizing over it, you ask? Because of the way I am, I say. Okay, so what I want is conveyor junction here that hooks into the connector, like so. And then we're going to need to go a couple, it looks like 2 blocks in between the connector and the and the next stage of the plan here. And what we're going to do with that, and I'm just throwing colors on here. I haven't made a final decision on color and texture here for this build. But then what we need is a merge block, because I definitely want these modules to be merged on, not just landing geared on or connectored on. I'd like them to function as part of the ship, which again I think will work pretty cool. Okay, there's the creepy music. Does that mean there's a bad guy close? Nope. Yeah, I might load in the corruption drones, which is just asking for trouble, right? And that actually is not going to work for me. Shoot. Yeah, I might load in the corruption drones and see if we can get some enemy combat action going here while we're working on this. There we go. Okay, so we have... And that's ugly there, but I'll just leave that, place that there for now. And then... Because that'll put the merge block right in line with the connector like it is down here, right? Yeah, it looks like it. And 2 merge blocks for redundancy, I guess. Also, it just kind of is symmetrical and works with what we're going for here, so... Okay. Something like that will work. Okay. Now with that, from here, we need to think about how we're going to tie cargo and everything else that's important in. And it's always a trick building your small ships because you have to make sure that these large cargo ports, if flow of cargo is important to you, you have to make sure these large cargo ports are, that you have a clear line of large cargo ports, because certain items you can't get through here. Like if I were to come in here and put a steel plate in this small cargo container, because it's a small cargo port, if I came up to like this big cargo port access hatch, I wouldn't be able to get the steel container out because it wouldn't be able to flow through this size, which is something that took me an embarrassingly long time to learn. But here we are, and so yeah, that's going to be something I want to consider. And I think with the fighter cockpits, it should be fairly easy, and especially the fighter cockpits and these super handy things called medium cargo containers, which I should have. Nope, don't have any of them there. That's the wrong thing to type. Let's grab our medium cargo container right here. And it doesn't really matter which way those small ports go, I guess. So let's just have them like so. So we can put in a couple of those medium cargo containers. Again, we've got some cargo, or a lot of cargo capacity in this pod type thing, but we want the bulk of the cargo capacity, but we want a little bit on the actual ship itself too. So we can do something like that. And now what? This is about as far as I've planned and thought. Definitely going to want a turret, which sounds strange that I'm already placing like my weapons and stuff like that, right? But I'm going to want a Gatling turret, I think. Or a missile turret. Now we'll just put a plain Gatling turret on here. And that'll help me kind of get a sense of the size, because we want to build around that missile turret in an appropriate way. Yeah, something like that I think will work great. And that way we have that kind of a tail turret look going on there. Okay, so we got a turret up there, and then we'll cover around it with armor plating and things like that. Now what do we do? Because we're basically to the front of our cargo area, or cargo bay area. Now, do we just, is the answer, do we just throw in a fighter cockpit here? That feels oddly truncated, if you guys know what I mean. Like, that feels like I'll end up with a lot of... Let's just try placing it for now. Nope, not going to be able to place it, apparently, until I put something down right here. It's okay, we're experimenting, we're sketching, right? So something like this. That feels actually kind of wrong. Because if that's how I'm landing, granted it's not totally low, but it's only high by like a block or a block and a half. And plus the space down here, but that's still only like 2 to 3 blocks. That's way too high for my cockpits to be. I want them to be way lower. So is this actually going to work? Is this top-down system going to work for me? Or do I need to go something where I go front, plug in? That's a thought right there. Huh. Yeah, sorry, I know I'm like just throwing words out here that maybe don't make a ton of sense. But I was envisioning, the cargo system or conveyor system, plugs into the top here, which plugs into the cargo system. What if I instead redesigned things a little bit? I'd have to redesign the pod as well. And like however we design the ship is how we're going to design all of our pods, cargo, weapons, mobile base, mini mobile base pod, all that stuff. So these are decisions that matter, at least to me. Sorry if they're don't matter to all y'all, but we could redesign the pod so that it's more like the connector is on this end. That's an option. And then cockpits go on like that. I don't know, you guys. And again, maybe it's frustrating for you to see me like spend this much time thinking about it, but I want this to be kind of a cool ship, and it's going to take me some time to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. I'm over time anyway. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any ideas for building this thing, or especially if you have names or ideas on anything else that would be cool to see. And I'll see you next episode for potentially taking whatever I come up with for a test drive. We'll just have to wait and see. But again, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic day.